you already got water on there. Look at that.
That's not
This
a big
thing's
deal.
Sony's gonna just.
That's not a
fizzle.
big deal.
It's just gonna fizzle.
What's up, guys? We got cloudy skies today. It means it's a good waterfall day. Cloudy skies, little mountain rain going on. Got Dusty up in front of me. We're headed to a secret spot, so I don't really want to show everybody exactly where we're going. Just know that it's in the Greenbrier area of Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I've never been here. He's promising it's gonna be a pretty epic scene of a waterfall. Rain right now has been absolutely dumping on Tennessee, so water levels look really good. We got some really good moss on the edges. Just know whenever you're going out shooting waterfalls, study the weather patterns, because a lot of times if you've been without rain, the creeks are going to be pretty low in water levels. You're not going to get those, mighty rushing waters that you want to get with some longer exposures, and try to figure out what your composition is going to be. When you have low water levels in the creeks, you're not going to get those great scenes. So check weather reports, what's the weather been doing, and figure out everything that you need to know before you actually get out there, so you're not disappointed when you get to a location.
After having probably hiked and photographed the Smokies for, gosh, probably going back to maybe year 2000, I think there's maybe 900 miles of trails in the park. The particular trail that we're on today is not even on the map, so it's not marked, and so it's a little bit off the beaten path. And was here in town doing a presentation, and one of the folks at the presentation is actually from the area. Family actually lived in the park before it was a park, and he had asked me if I'd been over here and photographing these waterfalls and cascades. I'm like, well, no. In fact, I've never even heard of it. And he just kind of laughed, and was kind enough to share the location. And so I guess it was maybe a couple of years ago, we checked it out, and it was just a fabulous place with tons of cascades up and down through here. Short, easy hike. Hardly anybody else out here because it's not on the map. It's not marked, and so it's a place that's really enjoyable for a day like today, when you have pretty much ideal conditions to photograph waterfalls. Cloudy, so the sky's just a giant diffuser. The rain makes the moss sort of electric green, and we've had a lot of fresh rain in the creek, so the water is pretty. So for me, this particular condition is just as good as it gets for waterfalls. So it's a great thing about being in the Smokies is, regardless of weather conditions, man, there's almost always something to shoot because there's so much variety here. And so if it's rainy and cloudy, that's actually my favorite conditions to shoot, because there's just tons of cascades and creeks and waterfalls. So
we'll show you what it looks like when we get there.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so we made it to the location. It's a pretty sweet waterfall. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so a couple different things on waterfalls when you set up. Even before exposures or anything, think about your composition. How does it look? Is it going to be a good horizontal or vertical shot? Set up everything before you even worry about your camera settings, because a lot of times that's going to be your best bet to a good photograph. We had a couple different comps here that we had to work with this waterfall in particular, both horizontally and vertically. You just got to walk around the entire thing and make sure everything is set up the way you want it. I had a couple difficulties with this one in particular. Stepped in the creek more than one time, slipped on rocks. My ball head got stuck on this tripod that I'm using right now, so I had to balance my tripod on things. But always work around what you're given and walk around it and see what's the best composition possible in a location before you worry about your settings at all. Set up the shot first. All right, so real quick, here's the thing about Dusty. He's not with me right now, so he can't hear me saying this. He's like one of the nicest photographers I've ever met. Like, just when we were just shooting the waterfall down here, he backed off, showed me compositions that he shot before, gave me ideas, wanted to lend me a lens cloth, you know, setting up just back behind everything so that I could shoot it first and be there and experience it, because he's already been here, he's seen it, he knows it. He wanted me to feel the same thing too. And that's the amazing thing about Dusty. It's like, even if you're not like one of his clients or anything, like we're just buddies, but he'll back off and like teach you and show you and share ideas and like allow you to experience things the way he has in the past so that you can get the same feel too. He loves to share the information. And that's what like a lot of photographers are missing out on right now is like working together to get these great shots. It's an amazing experience going out and shooting with other people and not just yourself. So that's just it about Dusty. I think he's coming this way. I would never say this stuff in front of him. I like ragging on him way better when it's just us. So me and Dusty decided to take a slight detour, a total detour of 8 miles, 4 miles up the mountain, 4 miles back down to Ramsey Cascade. And we didn't know what it was going to look like at all. We just went up there thinking that we, had the possibility of getting a good shot. I had never hiked up to Ramsey Cascade, even though I'd heard a lot about it. Dusty had been up there a couple times, but we had no expectation of what it might look like. Check out what it actually looked like when we went up there.
It was just fantastic with the snow, the ice, and I kind of didn't want to say it out loud, but with the mist hanging around the falls, and above the falls with the snow and the ice and the cascade, it's pretty awesome. So one of those things where I'm glad we kind of didn't take too much of our time coming in. Got there, nobody else there, mist hanging around the falls, photographed it pretty much after we had a snack and drink, packed up, the mist went away, which I think really is a key ingredient, adding that extra element of the atmosphere there. So timing was perfect. Super stoked.
We went to Ramsey Cascades and not even knowing what it was going to look like and figuring out how we were going to get up there and, was it even worth going to shoot? And this was at about 11 o'clock. We were hungry, we were tired, we were ready for lunch. But, we didn't know what it looked like at the top, but we figured we're already there, we might as well just go hike there. And it's about an 8 miles hike. So we go out there, we get up to the top, and it's like this epic scene of a waterfall. I've never seen a waterfall in the Smokies look exactly like it did, with ice and snow, and you had tons of water just gushing out of it because it's been downpouring on Tennessee the past few weeks. It just goes to show that you never know what it's actually going to look like before you get up there. So if you're kind of debating, maybe we shouldn't go, let's just bail, we never really know what it's going to look like, it's really overcast and gross, go and check it out. Just see how it is and put in the time and the effort going out to see what it actually might look like. You never know, you're rewarded with a great shot of an epic waterfall. So that's a wrap on the Smokies today. Awesome day of waterfall shooting. Come out here, try to find good waterfalls, and you succeed. Some days are really good. If you go back to the last vlog episode, I was extremely disappointed with how everything was panning out for night shooting the night before. Had clouds rolling in all over the place. Next day you get up and you're greeted with like epic conditions for waterfalls. It's a great example of just not knowing what the next day holds, going out and shooting the next day, trying to discover that next great shot and figuring out where to go, what's the risk, what's the opportunity cost here of actually capturing this shot. So always take that chance and go out and see what this might actually look like before you make the judgment on if it's any good to shoot or not.